there. Hey, how have you guys' day been? Good? Alright, thanks for letting me know. So today, we'll be watching three animated stories. Scary three animated stories. So, let's get into this.
Choose a Sleep Number smart bed. Can it keep me warm when I'm cold?
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
Alright, you guys. I don't have really a lot of time cause it's about to get nighttime. And I gotta edit this. So this will take days to make. So, it's the first scary animation. So let's go. This video get props onto SSG Animations. What that stand? What does SSG stand for? I don't know.
My name's Roy, and I'm 25 years old. Since I moved out on my own, I've been very cautious. I lock all the doors, close all the windows, and make sure I have all the police and emergency numbers handy. People call me paranoid, but not everyone knows how dangerous it can be to give someone a chance to enter your home, because you don't know who you might meet. I learned this lesson the hard way 15 years ago, and every time I question whether I'm being too exaggerated, I remember what happened that night and realize that a little extra security never hurts. I was only 10 years old, and it was my first night alone. My parents were divorced, and my dad wasn't a big fan of babysitters, as he didn't trust inviting a stranger into your home to watch your child. I usually lived with my mother, but she had to go on a business trip, and although my father spent every weekend with me, on weekdays, I didn't know anything about his life. My mother forced my dad to take care of me for that week, and my dad told her that he was taking a vacation to be with me, but he lied. He had already taken a leave a month ago to go to another country with his new girlfriend, and even though he didn't tell me, I saw his messages with her, and I knew it was true. Without the vacation, my dad got engaged to my mom, and when he talked to me, he told me that he had to work, and that I could take care of myself. I was already old, and he knew that I was very responsible. He promised me not to say anything to my mom, and I agreed. I wanted to be alone too. It was my chance to prove to the world that I could take care of myself. When he left for work, my dad locked all the doors and left me the keys. He also left me all the emergency numbers close by, with his on top of everything if anything should happen.
I feel like the first thing you should learn when you're little is emergency numbers. How do you not notice at 10? Come on now. Come on, bro. L parents in the chat.
He also left me prepared food that I only had to reheat, and lots of treats to eat only after dinner. He told me that to make sure I did everything. There were cameras all over the house, and that he would watch me at all times. But I knew that was a lie. Otherwise, he would have told me before or shown them to me. After all this, my father grabbed all the stuff and left, leaving me alone in his apartment. The moment he left, I was running to open the candy and stuffed all of it in my mouth without a second thought. I knew that after dinner, I would want to eat more, so I saved a few for later and went to watch TV. After a few minutes, I fell asleep with my belly full of treats and the TV on. I was dreaming about my pets at my mom's house until suddenly, a loud noise woke me up. The doorbell was ringing.
Who's that? I see it. Look. If you look on the left, this is my left. This is my right. Right now, you look to your right on your screen if you're watching this, and you can see someone standing right there in the glass. Now, I want to freaking predict the future real quick. Hold up. He's going to open the door and peek through it or something like that. He has to. But let me stop yapping and let's get to this.
Incessantly, as if someone who knew the place wasn't empty had been ringing for a while. I was terrified that I hadn't slept all day, and the doorbell ringer was my angry dad. But when I saw the time, I realized that it would still be a long time before he arrived. I put on my flip-flops and approached the door. On the other side was a woman. She looked familiar, but I couldn't try to remember who she was. I asked her what she wanted, and she told
Why are you talking to the person that is at the door? You don't know what they got on him. And she looks 7 feet. See how tall she is? She's like a man. She's like a woman in a man body.
told me she was the neighbor my dad sent to take care of me. I told her that my dad had left me alone, but she said he changed his mind on the way downstairs and sent her to make sure everything was okay for a few minutes. I wasn't sure if I believed her, but within seconds she said, "Come on, open up, Roy, or your dad'll get mad." This woman looked very familiar. She knew my father was working and knew my name, so I believed her and opened up. As she walked in, she thanked me with a strange smile and started asking me if I had done my homework, to which I replied surprisingly that I was on vacation since it was the middle of
That's how you know she's capping. And even if you didn't have children, you or her, how do you not know it's the summertime? How do you not know that? Like, don't you keep track of the months?
January. She just laughed, ignored me, and told me to watch TV, and hurried into my father's room. I saw out of the corner of my eye what she was doing, and she was rummaging through everything as if she was looking for something. I asked what she was doing, and she told me that my father had told her to get his money from him and to give it to her because she wanted to buy a surprise for his favorite son. At that moment, I didn't notice how strange it was that my father didn't know where his own money was, and I just got excited about the surprise I was going to get. After a few minutes, the girl violently broke the drawer of a closed cabinet and took out a pile of money, to which she reacted by laughing frantically. She stuffed everything into a bag and was leaving, but I stopped her and asked her to warm up my food before she left. At first, she just looked at me angrily, but then she gave me a big smile and said she'd be happy to warm up.
She was gonna get a sleeping pill. Say, looking. And this food. She finna be like, "Here you go, Royce. Thank you." See, girl, you better watch and pay attention to what's in your food. That's why they always say eat slowly.
On my food. Suddenly, she rushed over to me and hugged and squeezed me violently. I started to cry in desperation, but she paid no attention. Just pulled me over to the kitchen chair and told me to stay still or she would hurt me. Terrified, I obeyed. The girl tied me to the chair with a rope she had found while going through my father's things and started boiling water. She would probably make me the noodles my dad had on top of the fridge. I told her I wasn't hungry anymore, but she ignored me. After a few minutes, she asked if I was thirsty and wanted some water, to which I told her I'd prefer some orange juice. I asked her if she could untie me, since the ropes were tight, and again, she did not answer me. I wanted to ask her if she would serve me juice. My thoughts were interrupted by an indescribable sensation of pain. The girl was pouring all the hot boiling water slowly on my head. She was dripping.
Me in the chair. That was me. Let me do that again. Me, if I was... Wait, let me bring it over here. Me. Me, if I was in the chair. I have feet. I know that. I will flick back and fall. And I'll figure out some type of way to get out. I'll freak out.
It slowly. The water was running all over my face and body. I screamed desperately and tried to free myself, but there was no solution. I felt my face starting to melt and my vision beginning to blur. The girl started to run the hot water all over the rest of my body, ensuring that none of my parts were dry, while she laughed non-stop. When she ran out of the water, I was still screaming, to which she reacted by slapping me hard across the face, and she continued to laugh. Almost without understanding anything, I heard banging on the door. voices asking me if everything was all right. The woman went to open the door and worriedly told the neighbors that I had an accident and needed help. As the neighbors came in to see me, she ran out of the house in desperation, taking all my father's money with her. The neighbors who came to help me saw me and screamed in surprise when they saw my condition, and they untied me and desperately called the ambulance. I was never able to recover from what happened. I received permanent wounds and marks all over my body and could not leave the hospital for a long time. Eventually, I found out that that woman was my dad's ex-girlfriend, with whom he had gone on a vacation a month before, but they had a very violent fight. The girl looked familiar to me because some of the pictures I saw of her when I was checking my father's cell phone, and I also remembered how I'd seen them.
Don't disturb me. I don't want to talk. Talk to me, otherwise it will be not good. That don't make no sense. Look. This makes no sense, bro. It says, talk to me, otherwise it will be not good.
Arguing loudly.
Ow. I'ma say it. Say not loud. Off. You. Oh. If I got that. I will hurt your boy if you ignore me.
In chat rooms, and she constantly threatened her.
Burger off, you freak woman.
Hurt me. My father never took her seriously. After the hospital, I didn't see my father for years. Not because he didn't want to see me, but because my mother denied him until I was of age and could decide independently. My father didn't try to take any legal action against her, as he felt very guilty about what happened and felt that maybe he deserved it. Today, my relationship with him has improved a little, but I never go into his apartment again because every time I see him from a distance, the marks that are permanently left on my skin start to burn again.
My name is Eileen, and although
That. Oh, why she look strong? Hold up. Is that Batman's wife? The freak? Alright, I'm off track. Alright. Stay focused. Sorry now. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. But look, imagine, because I got the pool once, and I was waiting for one of my friends to get out the shower. She went to the pool. And I put a lotion on my face, because my face starts to irritate after the pool in the chlorine. When that stuff gets, when I put the lotion on my face, it burns so much. So just imagine your face being burnt and just putting that lotion all on your face. That's gonna hurt badly. We'll be watching someone else. My mouse disconnected. Oh, I gotta cut that part out too. Oh my gosh.
that's why there's Easy Key.
Okay, guys, I'm back, and we're watching the same dude, but they got good animation stories. Not gonna lie, really good. All right, let me stop yapping. Let's get into this.
I'll be completely honest with you. I never knew much about the deep web or the things that go on there.
Y'all ain't hear that? You have to hear that. I just heard somebody whisper it in my ear. No, it's probably the video. Let me do it again.
I'll be completely honest with you. I never knew much about the deep web or the things that go on there. As a parent,
Oh, I was tripping. It's an echo in my ear of the video, so I thought it was a whisper. Lock in.
all I had to know was that it was bad and that I had to keep my kids away from that place. us about the deep web and went too deep. I tried to get him off as quickly as possible. What I didn't know was that the deep web wasn't the worst of our problems. Something else was stalking us, and ignoring it was the worst mistake my wife and I could have made. It all started when our oldest son, Fred, became overly interested in technology. He told us his dream was to work in the IT security field. We were very happy for him. He had just turned 18 a few months ago and had never shown such passion for anything. Maybe his future was in the technology field. And that excited us, as it's a very promising future with a lot of job opportunities. Fred couldn't get a job, so we decided to buy him a computer and give him everything we could so he could get an education without having to work. My wife didn't think this was a good idea, but I managed to convince her that we had to support him. So, Fred's journey to study computer security began. What we didn't know was that this would be the beginning of the end. At the beginning, we saw Fred very excited, telling us everything he was learning. But after a few weeks, something strange started to happen. Fred was distant. He was never one to have any problems or teenage crises, but suddenly he was barely speaking to us. He didn't fight with us or anything like that. He even treated us as well as he always did. But he didn't eat with us anymore. He was
Okay. See, this is why if you figure out, like, this is why you gotta study. If you figure out something, like somebody is like, can easily get distracted or interested in something very easy, like this, can't do that. Like, can't give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? It's like, tell them what to do. Like, not saying like, not trying to show you how to be a parent. I'm just saying, like, that's what can happen.
so immersed in the computer that he didn't even see the sunlight. He didn't sleep, and we didn't even know when he was sleeping and when he was awake. And the worst part was that this was just the beginning. It was a winter night. I was usually a very heavy sleeper, so my wife woke me up. She told me she heard a loud bang coming from outside. Worried, I went outside to see what was going on. I grabbed an old field hockey stick and stood ready for anything. The kitchen door was closed, just as I had left it. But still, something was wrong. The floor was dirty. I'm sure those marks weren't there before we went to sleep. I carefully held the hockey stick as I opened the door. I was overcome with an enormous terror that I hadn't felt in a long time. I felt like I was going to have to fight someone, like there was someone behind the door. Once I finished unlocking it, I opened it as fast as I could. When I went out into the yard with my hockey stick, I went out ready to hit someone. But when I looked outside, there was no one there. I was about to go back into the house when I was startled by a shadow in the distance. I looked out, and that's when I saw it. It was a person coming out of my yard and entering the neighbor's house. It was neither my imagination nor my wife's. That man was in the house. The next few days were even worse. No matter how many times we called the police, there were always people hanging around the house. Open windows, broken things in the yard, strange...
Oh, heck no. I know what the son did. He told, I'm going to tell you at the end.
power outages and strange people walking in from outside and looking at the house. We were clearly being targeted. But why did they make themselves look this way? Why didn't they ever steal anything? The whole family was scared. So far, nothing had happened. But we knew that sooner or later they would go further. We could do nothing to prevent it. I bought a gun to protect my family, but even that could have been very bad.
Bro, they can just be running your room. Oh, what's in the drawer? Take that. You're done for.
And one night, it did. But not in the way I expected. While all this was happening, Fred was more distant than ever. I don't know why, but he didn't seem surprised by anything that happened. I know it was far-fetched, but I just had a feeling he had something to do with it. One day, when he was in the bathroom, I went into his room. What I saw left me confused. He was on a social network similar to Facebook, only it had a different name, The Dark Lair. I thought about asking my son what it was, but he would probably get mad that I was in his room. I think not talking to him was the biggest mistake I made. And that same night, I would pay for it. That night, my wife was at her parents' house with our youngest daughter. Meanwhile, Fred, his brother, and I stayed behind. As I had to go to work, our other son had to go to school. And Fred didn't want to go. Once dawn came, Fred started screaming desperately that someone had broken into the house. I told his brother to hide in his room and ran to Fred. He was crying, clearly upset, shaking with terror. Fred, what happened? Where did they come in? It was two men. They came in the back.
What is that? What is that? What is that? Bro, look at the mouse. You don't see that mouse? Bro, the mouse like this, not the mouse that's crawling. On his desk, there's an arm gone, just floating there. Bro.
Came out of my room to get some water and I saw them. They were there. Calm down. What did they do? Where are they now? They went to the garage. They're probably trying to steal your car. God damn it. Desperate, I grabbed my gun and went to the garage. They could have easily escaped with my car. But what really worried me was that they were looking for something else. They were hanging around the house a lot. That day it was my car, but another day it could be my family. I opened the garage door and to my surprise, there was no one there. They were probably hiding. I had to be careful. Out of nowhere, someone attacked me. My weapon fell to the ground after the first hit.
I'm not watching this. We're skipping. We're skipping. We're skipping.
Situation to hit me again and again. This person didn't come in to rob me. He just wanted to kill me. I turned around trying to see his face, thinking at any moment that Fred would get into the fight. When I turned around, I couldn't believe what was happening. The man who attacked me was Fred. Without saying anything, Fred hit me again and again, trying to hit my head and kill me. I was able to cover myself enough and jump to attack him, but before I could, he hit me hard in the legs and I fell. Once on the ground, he kept hitting me again and again. Suddenly, I heard a scream from far away coming towards Fred. It was my youngest son. When he was close to us, he stood still for a moment, looking at Fred with a look of disbelief on his face. Fred grabbed my gun and slowly approached his brother with a sinister smile.
No. No, 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 no. This cannot happen. It can't. It can't. You know what?
He was going to kill him. I tried to get up, but quickly fell to the floor. My youngest son ran to the back door and escaped. Fred was right behind him. As soon as Fred tried to get out, something scared him to death. Fred pointed his gun at something I couldn't see, and in a matter of seconds, the gun was pulled. Fred came running in my direction, terrified. And that's when I saw them. The gun was pulled out. 3 men in hoodies rushed in and grabbed my son before he could escape. The men threw him to the ground, and one of them pulled out a gun. All I could see was Fred, my oldest son, the boy I would have given anything for. He was crying. He was 18 years old. I didn't know why he attacked me, but he was still just a boy. Dad, help me! Dad, help me, please! Fred, no! Suddenly, a shot rang out in the house. I closed my eyes before I saw the shot, but I knew what had happened. I looked up, hoping I was wrong, but I saw what no parent ever wants to see. My son was no longer crying, no longer screaming. His body lay lifeless in a pool of blood. Without giving me time to process the image, the 3 men walked towards me. Cowards! How could you do this to a child? This child was going to kill you and his brother. When your wife came back with your daughter, he was going to kill them too. After that, he was going to go to your youngest son's school and do a shooting. What? That's not possible. Your son wanted to be famous. His computer is on. Look at all his postings on Dark Lair. The deep web is really big, and that kid was really dumb, posting stuff like that on one of the only white flag hacker sites. We tried to warn you. We gave him lots of chances, Lots of visits. Lots of messages. Educate your other son better, will you? And for God's sake, check what your kids are up to. The internet is very dangerous. How dare you come here and attack my son? I'm calling the police.
He was killing. Is he dumb? Is he dumb or not? Cause was about to kill him, and now he's trying to help you, and now he's about to kill you. The heroes is about to kill you. Oh my gosh.
I'll go into prison. Yeah, you're welcome. And without another word to me, the men left. A few seconds later, my youngest son came running to me. He told me a fourth man had caught him in the yard and was holding him. I immediately called the police and ended up in an ambulance within minutes. While waiting, I thought about going over to Fred's computer, but I chose not to. All I did was stay and cry with my son over the death of his brother. It's been a few years since then. I still haven't gotten over what happened to Fred, but his brother took a better path. I never understood what happened to Fred. Had the deep web corrupted him, or did he always have these ambitions and tried to go to the deep web to feed them? All I know is that if he had a problem, we could have helped him. He could have been healed. He could have been better. But those men who were never caught just killed him as if they were eliminating a small plague. I don't know if what happened was just, if many deaths were prevented, or if it was simply one murder for another. The only thing I know is that I lost my son, and I will never get him back. Although we cannot mention the real names of the victim, the story is...
Alright, we don't want to feel like hearing this yap. Why don't? If you want to watch this video, it's called 4 True Deep Web / Dark Web Horror Story Animated. You want to see it? It's on the top right of the screen for you. Alright. Probably left, but I don't know. Alright, bye. Hold up. Alright. So what I'm saying, like, so what I'm trying to say is that I don't know what I would do if you guys won't subscribe. I'm so close to 200. Like, I have 175. I haven't been going up. I'm stuck right there. So if you guys can just subscribe, please, please, please. It'll be a pleasure if you do. So, see you guys in the next video.